And then make sure that that's.
Did you know, the public hearing, I can't skip.
No.
We, because it's business. Okay, so we'll just, if we have to wait, we'll just wait a couple minutes, but we probably should, because we're.
Yeah.
So maybe we're gonna start with it.
Yeah, and I, yeah. Start with. We'll just have to wait until.
Because I can't, well, because we heard that first, and we have that first. Okay. You did it, is that the chair?
Okay.
My feet are touching.
Okay.
I should have put it down, but so my feet can touch.
Let's get this one. Back when we get back here.
So, yes. Call order the regular meeting of the town council of the town of Evansville. May I have roll call, please?
Here, Jennifer Sorensen.
Here.
Councilmember Chad Edwards. Here. Councilmember Joe Kendall.
Here.
Councilmember Aaron Vidal asked to be excused. Councilmember Sheena Hickson. Here. Town Attorney Kyle Ridgway.
Here.
Town Treasurer Lexi Erickson.
Here.
Chief of Police Mike Thompson.
Here.
Fire Chief Leo Mawson.
Here.
Public Works Director Ron Emmond.
Here.
Town Clerk Janelle Underwood and resident citizens.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 1, consent agenda. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda items A, B, and C.
Seconded.
Second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 2, award a bid for new truck for Public Works, new truck for Public Works.
Madam Mayor, Council, the town of Evansville put out a bid specification to purchase a brand new truck for the Public Works Department. The town received a bid from Fremont Motors for a 2020 Ram half-ton Crew Classic. The bid price was $29,000, and the town had advertised to trade in a 2001 Ford F-150. They are offering a $2,000 trade-in for that price, so the purchase would be for $27,000 for a 2020 Ram 1500 Crew Classic. And it's just brought before you tonight for approval to award that bid.
Okay, we have a motion to award the bid. I guess anybody have questions first?
No question.
Was this out of the last year's budget? Or the,
Yes, it will.
yeah, not the,
Out of
not the
this-
2021
No.
budget, but
The
the
1920.
1920?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion to award the bid for the new truck for Public Works for $27,000.
So moved.
Okay,
Yes, you want to do the insurance?
yeah, we want to skip. If council's okay with public hearing at 7:05, we'll skip down to item 6 to go over the standard life ADD insurance stuff, and then we'll come back to the public hearing since we're a little ahead of schedule. Okay.
Madam Mayor, Council, Standard Life AD AD&D and VSP is offering to provide vision insurance for the town employees along with life insurance. Nationwide is pulling out their VSP plan January 1 of 2021. And the reason why we kind of looking at standard life or other options was so that we can offer to the full-time employees short-term and long-term disability pay at their expense. So the standard life AD&D and VSP is offering that they would provide vision insurance and life insurance to the town employees. The vision would be $4.87 a month per town employee and $2.20 per town employee for a $10,000 life insurance policy. And the town employees can then also add their dependent spouses or children for an additional additional $1,000 a month for 26 cents. An additional $1,000 life insurance policy for 26 cents a month. They are also offering short-term disability, and this would be paid by the town employee, short-term disability based on if somebody was the age of 50 at $50,000 a year, it would cost them $25.90 a month for that short-term disability. The short-term disability would kick in after 7 days. Then they could also add on the long-term disability insurance. And again, based on the age of 50 at $50,000 a month, $50,000 a year would be $68.35 a month. This would go into effect after a 90-day waiting period, which the short-term disability would cover the first 90 days. So these are options that are coming up that would go into effect September 1, and it's something that we've got to put into the portal for our open enrollment if the town is interested in going that route with the standard life AD&D and VSP plans.
Any questions? I asked her to bring it forward just because we don't have any kind of disability for employees, and right, in the future the town could look at picking up a portion, but right now we at least want to offer it.
Yeah.
So people can pick it up. And the only thing that is changing is the VSP.
The optical coverage of the vision is changing, and it is an increase of 58 cents a month, but then they're offering the same coverage on their life insurance policy for $220 a month versus $228 a month.
So 42 cents more a month-ish
Per employee, yes.
per employee. So the insurance change, so it's not too terribly much. And then there's an additional 10,000.
So one of the things that Standard Life is offering is an additional $10,000 if death occurs during the line of duty. That would be for our police and fire personnel.
Questions or anything? Good?
It's a good thing to offer to the employees.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Well, that short-term disability is wonderful stuff. We need it.
Comes in handy.
It does. Okay, so do I need to make a motion to offer this in our open enrollment and offer?
Yeah, motion to approve the proposal from Standard Life.
Okay, we have a motion to that effect.
Seconded.
Motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, back up to item 3, public hearing. We'll now start the public hearing for the 2019-2020 budget amendment and the 2021. Do we have any comments for or against the budget amendment? Any comments for or against? Any comments for or against? Okay, with no comments. Item 4, ordinance 8-2020, and ordinance ending fiscal year 2019-2020 budget on second reading.
Madam Mayor, Council, brought before you tonight is ordinance 20. This is an ordinance that would provide for the amendment of budget for the town of Evansville from July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. No changes to the proposed ordinance since first reading, brought before you tonight on second reading.
Questions or discussion? Okay. I have a motion to approve ordinance 8-2020, an ordinance amending fiscal year 2019-2020 budget on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Carries. Item 5, ordinance 9-2020, an ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget on second reading.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is ordinance 9-2020. This is an ordinance appropriate amount of money necessary to defray all expenses and liabilities of the town of Evansville for fiscal year July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Brought before you tonight on second reading, and there have been no changes made to this proposed ordinance since first reading.
Discussion or questions? Okay, may I have a motion to approve ordinance 9-2020, an ordinance adopting fiscal year 2020-2021 budget on second reading.
So,
Seconded.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Up down to item 7, Mountain West proposal discussion. Did everybody get a chance to see what you guys are looking at? I know that we had gone back and forth with Mountain West. Legal has signed off anything, and I know that we were talking about a rate of service. Mountain West did come back with, did that go into the emails? I think it does.
75 cents a meg.
Yeah, 75 cents per megabyte. Okay, IT guy. So, and I don't know what the original one was off the top of my head, but
It was old, crazy. It was like $10 a meg or something like that.
okay. And I know that that was something that you wanted addressed. As far as the rest of the proposal goes from Mountain West, I think what I'm looking for here is if we're okay with that rate of service, that we would put the proposal for Mountain West on the next, would you put on the next one?
If the council so wished.
Yeah, if the council, if you guys wish to move forward with offering Mountain West Internet in the town of Evansville, I would ask that we put it on the next council meeting to be considered. So gives you guys a little time to go through it again, if you have any other questions, but the one,
Can we get the proposal forwarded to us again? I don't recall what they're gonna pay per customer and stuff like that.
Are you talking about the ordinance that Mike Lansing, Attorney Mike Lansing went through?
If that's what we'd be voting on, it should set the rate that they're gonna pay us 10% per customer or whatever for monthly fees for this.
Yeah.
My firm's not doing it because we have a conflict, that's why I'm waiting.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you just forward that, so we can look over what this
you guys
is.
can look over, or at least have it on the agenda to be considered for next week. Okay? Do I need to make a motion on that? No.
For it to be on the agenda next week.
No, it was just a discussion I wanted to have with council since we hadn't had a chance to talk about it yet. Okay, item 8, approval of bills. We have a motion to pay the bills.
So
Second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 9, public comments.
Before we have any public comments, I just want to make a quick statement on behalf of the town of Evansville that as of today, the town of Evansville still has no official comment on the pending and confidential investigation that's been reported by various media outlets because it is still ongoing by outside parties, including the Natrona County District Attorney's Office. And at this time, the town doesn't have any update that would change the statement that it gave in the press release last Monday.
With that being said, public comments. Any public comments? Any public comments? Any public comments? Okay, public comment session closed. Okay, I have a motion to move into executive session for information classified as confidential.
So moved.
Second discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
At this time, we'll go into executive session. You guys are more than welcome to hang out till we come back out, or you can head, there'll be no other scheduled business for tonight.
Yeah, but you might want to ask.
Yes.
No, no, we can, but we can.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Kyle, do any of us?
No. No, you guys need to stay.
Huh?
No, you need to stay.
Oh, good, you're free to go. Free to go? All right, I like that.
I think we just have one more. Oh, gotcha.
How are you? Doing pretty great. Keeping busy? Okay. Watching the weather?
Yeah,
You're still on the Facebook, right?
but weather's been really depressing for me this year because we haven't had any rain or thunderstorms.
They want to work.
Oh, I guess I can go back to the house.
Yeah.
Storm chaser and everybody has to go.
Because the only thing that'll happen when they come out is they'll just essentially adjourn.
Yeah.
So nothing will get discussed beyond where they're at this point.
Right.
So,
I was gonna say, yeah, I've never seen some storm chaser trucks.
Yeah.
Live. There's a park outside there, like, yeah, like they had cages on it.
Sounded like one guy over here wanted to make a big house. Thank you.
of course,
Yeah. I talked to his wife about it.
Listen to the radio tracks. Oh my God.
That's
So like, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a couple of.
So, yeah, he was first.
That area down there.
I sat to see what things he was going to say. So it's like, hi dearie. Huh? I said, hi dearie. I love. Are they still streaming? Yep.
yeah, until it's adjourned.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Aaron was said that he was gonna try to zoom in or something, but didn't hear anything back about it.
I don't even think we have to Zoom. I know that's something that we've looked at.
Yeah. At some point.
I'll never get another one.
Haters can be eating out there on the porch.
Like that?
Yeah.
Solid, yes.
Yeah, standing out there talking.
3/4 of
Oh, but
So,
45 minutes.
the purple.
The rear one.
I got kicked off that group. I'm like, I've been in charge of that group for almost 3 years now and I haven't kicked anybody off.
Yeah.
Other than the one big profile.
Her daughter's Alicia, and all upset because she didn't want to listen to reason and hung up on me.
Oh, that one. How did that go? Did you go back over and talk?
Because they have an agenda. And I was going to, and I just decided it was, I must not.
Yeah, she has to list them, but their strengths is that.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Probably not.
Walk out there and interrupt their conversation.
Should. Yeah, so that could
I can fully imagine how that would go.
go eat.
No, because I don't know how long this is gonna take, and I still have to
I said it.
adjourn the meeting, like actually adjourn the executive session, and then I have to go.
Watery batch.
It is, like, I don't like that, like, I go to spit and it just goes everywhere, I'm like, what is the point of this?
Blast that.
No, I was like, I thought they were kind of just like, oh, we're gonna mellow them out.
Okay.
I'm not sure what not to do.
Apparently, he like Officer Dublin.
Oh, good, man. I'm okay with that. I don't know, as long as I don't get more rock right.
Hey, ride-alongs are a flip of the coin.
Yeah.
Because we have the same thing over there. They're like, I want to be a fireman. I don't want to ride along. And I'm like,
Well,
yeah, and this probably isn't the right career field for you. No offense.
some places they do it where it's like, you know, there's a man, or you only get 4 hours to ride on like that, because that way it's not long.
The thing for us,
I thought they were restricted, well, not restricted. Generally, only 2 hours for ride along.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in our policy saying how long they can ride for, but I know a lot of places where, especially because they're very forward to having like the public riding with them, so they actually have like a kind of like country, what's it called, like a police academy for the
Right.
civilians and stuff like that. And they do like 4-hour ride-alongs with the police, so they can kind of get an idea, which would be a good thing for us, I think, especially in this time of era with all the going things that everything's going on. But
nationwide.
yeah, that way they can exactly see what we
See, in
do.
ours are either 8 or 12 hours unless they're like an intern or they've applied, then we'll let them do a full tour of the firehouse, so.
I didn't even know that the fire department did ride-alongs.
Yep,
So they don't get actively involved in any situations. They sit and that's it.
yeah, so I'll be honest, most of our ride-alongs are like applicants that want to volunteer or, because we use I shouldn't say we get a lot of applicants from the fire science program at the college. So, they also do internships up there. So they have like a purpose of being there. Does that
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sense?
yeah.
But when they are riding, they can go on the calls because they sign a waiver that they can go on the call, but most of the time they can't get out of the truck. They can't have patient contact. They can't, I mean, they really can't do anything, but
Right.
just literally observing what we do.
Which has its benefits.
It does.
I mean.
And it does for them as well.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You know, for somebody who is, like you said, taking fire science, it helps to, oh, that's what he was talking about in the lecture. And the same way with the police department, to a different degree, I think a ride-along is good because so many people do not understand what you do during the day.
Yep.
Many people think you just drive up and down the streets.
Yeah, well, even when I was in college, the department, like for criminal justice, they had us do ride-alongs, and we actually got to do a ride-along with Denver PD. So we actually got to kind of see a different, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame over there, but
Mhm.
you kind of get to still see what they do and how many, like, call log, how much calls they actually made, stuff like that, so it's kind of cool. I mean, yeah, same thing with like safety things, that traffic stops they can get out, because we don't want anything to happen to them. I mean, but all in all, I mean, there are calls they can get out as long as they kind of stay back and everything, so pretty good. It's a good program.
The ride-alongs for both of our departments are actually, especially when you start talking to college and the people studying to do that, they're actually very beneficial.
Sure.
Very beneficial. And, you know, we occasionally, it doesn't happen very often, occasionally we'll just have a citizen say, I want to do a ride-along. And typically I'll kind of talk to them and try and figure out why, because we don't, I mean, you don't want the crazy rocks riding with you. I don't, up to this point, I haven't ever been idle.
Mhm.
So we're pretty open to people seeing what we do, that, you know, if a citizen wants to know what their fire department's doing during the day, between calls.
Do you have people in the station 24 hours a day?
Yes.
So it's not, see now, I spent a lot of my years in Riverton. And it's a strictly volunteer department. So they go to meetings and they go to training and they do that. But other than that, except for maybe engineers, there's nobody in the fire station.
So our department in 2012, we went from an all-volunteer department to a combination department. So I've got volunteer staff, part-time staff, and we've got a small handful of full-time staff. because we made the switch from a basic life support service to an advanced life support service. So we have full mod intermediates and paramedics on staff all the time. The state requires that if you go to ALSU, you can't leave with just a basic unit.
Right,
They
right.
have to be ACLS qualified. So, in 2012, we made that switch, and, it's been a great thing. It truly has been a great thing. You know, the town, and I still have most of them to this day, they love it here. This is what they want to do. They're very happy with the town and the way the town treats them. And,
Right, right.
and then when we get into like the part-time guys and the volunteer guys,
That was the thing, one of the big things in Riverton and my grandson. It didn't matter who you were, where you were, what you were doing, if you were in the middle of serving a customer in some fashion, you dropped what you did and you left. They blow a whistle, and it's not 4 minutes before you have a unit on scene. And, you know, they throw the light up on top of their Dodge pickup and off they go, and they're so professional. There's, I don't know if you can tell the difference between a full-time firefighter and the volunteers. I know that's not the case everywhere, but, you know, in some departments, it's a working thing, it works.
and like with us, I mean, the town can't afford to pay everybody.
No.
full-time. They just can't. I get that. The town gets that. Most of the guys get that. But yeah, without our part-time and our volunteer staff, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So those of us that are lucky enough to have that job, they're highly respected. Our volunteer and our part-time staff, we wouldn't function without them appropriately.
Right, right.
They're vital to our existence, is having them supplement the small group of full-time people that we have. So it's really unique too, because there's a lot of combination departments around the US that there's a huge division between like the full-time guys and the volunteers, because one sees the other one as inferior or superior. The really cool thing that we have going is every one of the full-time guys over there volunteered there before they got the job.
Both sides.
They were both sides, and they, you know, what, we didn't just hire somebody off the street to be in a full-time position. They've done their time as a volunteer, and they respect that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really beneficial to us to have that.
It's probably a benefit to the volunteers too, because your full-timers have been where they are.
Correct.
So they can sit there and they can relate to the exact same emotions they're going through, not about the fires or anything, but about the work, about the training, about well, it's your turn to come in and clean hoses or whatever it is, you know, we gotta paint the floor this weekend, and so you're on duty for that. They've been there and done that, and they can relate and say, look, I was there, I know, I understand where you're coming from.
And that truly is one of the main reasons that we, since 2012, have been able to function the way we do, because they haven't forgot that.
Yeah.
And I won't let them forget that, because if we ever forgot that, it would be terrible.
Yeah. I can relate to it personally on a little different level. I've been a flight instructor since 1979. I haven't been active the whole time, and I'm not now. But when I was going to college, I remember our primary professor instructor, he told us, he said, at some point, flight instructor certificate, you're going to have an instrument flight instructor certificate. There's nothing in this aviation system or industry that you cannot do. You go work for the airline, he said, but remember where you came from. When you're out there teaching that first solo student or a solo student how to land the airplane, remember the frustrations you had when you were learning those things. It makes you a much better instructor because you relate to them.
Okay.
And today I'm on a few different, back then if you wanted an answer to a question, You went and dug the books out. You went and dug the FAA regs out. You went and dug out the papers and you found it yourself. Today, they get on there and say, well, what am I supposed to do about this? And my first thought is, you're an instructor. Why don't you know? Different answers. Maybe one of them is right.
If you're lucky.
And so it's a different world today. Can mean so much in the future to the new people coming on. And I think that applies in any industry.
I truly believe that's the backbone of us being able to be a combination department and do it well.
Mm-hmm.
That is, don't forget where you came from. Everybody respects everybody, and we do this together, we're a team.
Yeah.
And they do, there's some very good people.
How many are in the department altogether?
Well, our numbers are fluctuating right now because of COVID. But, so we've got a total of 8 full-time guys, 14 that are part-time or paid per call. They get a little bit of money each time they want to call. And then we've got, well, starting Wednesday, we'll have 9 volunteers. And all the volunteer staff, after they pass probation, can be eligible to go part-time. That's what they strive for, to that paid per call. I mean, a little bit, it's not a lot, but it's at least some kind of reward for being there.
So there's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30.
We generally float, our staffing generally floats between 22 and 28.
Mm-hmm.
We don't typically go over 30 because then it becomes taxing on the town for bunker gear and all of that stuff. So generally speaking, we won't have more than 30. But we're pretty accurate, right about the 25 mark seems to be where everything functions well.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say, because with the town being somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,800 people, and you having 28 on a somewhat frequent basis, maybe, that gives you about a 1%. Is that kind of normal for fire departments to function at 1% of the general population they serve?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at, we're actually probably doing better than some because you look at like City Fire, they've got, and don't quote me on this because their numbers go up and down.
Oh, wait, let me turn the recorder off.
Right. They, their whole staffing is somewhere between 70 and 80 people. And they're serving 50,000, 60,000 people.
Yeah.
But they also have 5 stations. So we only have the 1 station. So, and we're not all full time. I mean, if we were all full time, we could function. And it's not fiscally smart for the town to do it, but if we had.
And it's in our possession, so we don't need to share.
So if we had 14 full-time people, we wouldn't have to have a volunteer or part-time staff to meet the NFPA requirements as far as people on engines and all of those things. But it's very nice having the part-time people and the volunteer staff and being able to give them the opportunity to volunteer, because most firemen, nationwide, most firemen have volunteered somewhere. That's full career departments that aren't even like say City Fire, a career department with no volunteers, no part-time people. That plays heavily into a lot of people they hire. Have they applied themselves before they got the job?
Right, or do we have to train you from scratch?
Right. So us keeping that program alive with the volunteer and the part-time staff, I think benefits our town, obviously, because we have good staffing, but it also benefits people can come volunteer and they can achieve their dreams. It may not be with us because we can't hire everybody, but they can achieve their dreams and we help them do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's an excellent program, and the town has supported it since we started it at 12.
Are volunteers, 100% volunteers, are they eligible to go either at a reduced cost or at no cost to the fire academies? Like the one in Riverton?
Well, so the Wyoming Fire Academy, they don't typically take people that aren't affiliated with the department. So to get into the fire academy, I as the chief I have to sign off that they're going there. They can sign up for it, but then I get an email that I'm the supervisor and I'm authorizing.
Right.
And for our volunteer and part-time staff, because the fire academy is actually not real expensive, it's only like $75 a class. The town, in my training budget, they can go to the fire academy and train. And we pay for it. We all pay for
With
it.
the volunteers can.
Yes, they are eligible to go to any of the same training that the full-time guys are.
Mhm.
That's part of not building that bridge, or that wall between.
Mm-hmm.
They are eligible. We actually just, in November, December, right around the first of the year, we had some full-time guys and some volunteer staff that wanted to go to Anniston, Alabama for a hazardous materials technician course where they use live agents,
Mm-hmm.
which is terrifying to me.
Mhm.
A really cool part about that was all of them were able to get onto FEMA's website, and they went through a FEMA program, and FEMA paid for their flights. They paid for everything.
Good.
The town of Evansville did not have to pay one penny, and they went down to a pristine academy and got hazardous materials technician certified.
Cool.
So, and there's a lot of that out there.
Are they still on the department?
They are. They are. Which is
Do
very good.
you have a hazmat team then?
I wouldn't say we have a hazmat team, so to speak, simply because, to be perfectly honest, I don't know that the town could afford to pay to set up a hazmat trailer when you start talking level A suits, and that stuff is crazy, crazy expensive. The benefit to us having hazmat techs is, so the state of Wyoming pays for the regional response team,
Right?
and City Fire actually has one of the regional response trucks.
Right.
And our guys, being a hazmat tech, get to participate with regional response. So they not only would be on our calls, but they get the experience of going on all of the calls in this region when regional response gets called out.
Cool.
So I think it's a win-win for everybody, to be honest. It's very beneficial. Because even just this last couple of years, we've actually used the regional response in the town. We had a white powder scare here in Mayo last summer.
A couple summers, I think.
Was that someone up by the school or something?
No, right here at town hall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
2 summers ago, we had the white powder substance scare here. And we called in the regional response team, and our guys that were on duty got to assist with regional response because they had the training and the knowledge. So that was really cool. And then, well, within the last year when they had the portable meth lab,
Oh, yeah.
these guys actually did a traffic stop, and then there was a portable meth lab in a vehicle, so then we got called out and we had to utilize regional response for that as well. So it's really, and this area is unique because there's like 8, 9 different fire departments in this county, between all of them. And us fire chiefs, we have a monthly meeting, we call it the area fire chiefs meeting. And all of the fire chiefs from all of the departments get together once a month. And I guess we talk about chief stuff, but, mutual aid, automatic aid. One of the big things in this county right now from the fire department standpoint is don't paint lines in the sand. We're all in this together because when the big incident happens, we're all there anyway.
Yeah.
So we have really good open communication and mutual and automatic aid agreements amongst all the departments in the county, so that we all work together and function together, and then we also train together. So that's very beneficial too, which makes regional response. That's where I was going with that. It makes regional response work because we're all already working together on the same team, I guess, so to speak.
Do our firefighters ever go up and train on the tower on Metro Road by yourselves, or is it okay, next month, we're gonna do tower training and everybody send who you want from the whole district.
Both. It's all of the above. COVID has slowed it all down, but the city of Casper has a new training chief, and one of his main goals with all the rest of us chiefs is to do even more multi-agency trainings, where it's not just City Fire up there, or just Evansville up there, or just Mills up there. He wants more of the.
Neil still has a department.
Yes.
For now.
Yes. But so one of our goals in our chiefs meeting actually is, once COVID and all, we can all be together again, is to do more multi-agency training. We already do them, but we want to do more. But our guys go up to the drill tower very frequently and utilize that facility to make sure our skills are as good as they can be. So
I've always wanted to go up there, and even when I lived in Riverton, I wanted to go to their tower. Because when I was in the Army, I did very little, but I did some rappelling. And I want to go up on that damn tower and rappel off it.
we repel that tower all the time.
Do you really? In my pickup, I have 100-foot 5/8 rope. And I have two 15-foot 5/8 that I make switch, that I learned how to do. Because in the Army, we didn't have all the harnesses and everything else. Here's a rope, you start here on this side, you come around, you loop it 3 times, you go through your legs, you put it up to the back, and you bring the nutsack up, and then you tie it, you know? Thanks, Mike. And I carry those around because I know someday I'm gonna get the chance somewhere
To use them.
to use them, you know?
Yeah, but we, actually, because of the whole coronavirus thing, it gave, the city, because the city actually owns the tower.
Right.
We just all get to use it. They approved a very significant amount of money, to improve it and make it better. And one of the things they just, it's ironic you brought it up, just 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, one of the contractors up there added more, yes, anchors.
Anchors.
They added more anchors for us, so we can actually utilize the tower even more for different rescue scenarios, but have a legitimate anchor to anchor off.
Yeah,
So the city of Casper, the fire department got the city council to approve quite a bit of money
you
to,
should have never told me that, you know? I'm probably gonna go up there some night with nobody around and find my way to the top.
it's actually pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the big things we like to do up there when we go all the way to the top, we'll send a couple of rappellers down, and then they go unconscious, so to speak. And then the guys have to come practice, do pickoffs.
Yeah.
With an unconscious victim on dangling from a rope. It can be entertaining at times, but it's fun. Especially when you get the pickoff, then the unconscious, more senior person walks them through it, but it's good training. But we utilize the tower a lot.
That's cool.
Yep, we're up there, we were actually up there on Saturday. Well, we just
You
tested.
have to have keys.
Yeah, it's all combination. It's a little secret code.
911.
That is not it. Because we knew people would try that.
82636.
No, that's not it either. But that's not how, well, we have so many zip codes that I don't know anymore. But we just tested for new volunteer firefighters this weekend.
Mhm.
And we're gonna be, Wednesday night at our department business meeting, we'll bring on our 4 new guys that, tested and are getting the opportunity to volunteer, so they're nervous but very excited. So.
Okay, so let me ask a really serious, not so hypothetical question.
Wow, that sounds deep. Okay.
If I knew you guys were going up there to train, could I come up and rappel?
Honestly, I would say no, because all of the agencies that use the tower have to sign a release for the city of Casper because they own it. And in our release, if you were that set on rebelling off that tower, I could talk to one of the city chiefs and see if there was a release that the city attorneys would allow you to sign, just not holding them liable.
Yeah, because I don't have anybody on belay.
Right. And the rope broke and bad things happened. I could talk to them. I don't know what that answer would look like because I've never actually. Easy.
Depends on who knows I'm going there.
I'm perfectly honest, I've never had somebody ask me that outside of the department, so I have no idea what that answer would look like.
Well, my motivation is, A, that I would like to do it again, but B, I don't know anywhere to go that has a cliff that would be acceptable for rappelling. And then the safety factor of, okay, do I just tie off to a tree? There's not any place I know that actually rappels. Now, the 5150 place down here has a wall about as tall as the ceiling.
Right.
And yeah, you can, their primary purpose, I think, is to belay somebody going up, not to actually rappel.
So I do have a little information that might help you. When I was younger, I was into rock climbing. And the Fremont Canyon area out between Alcova and Pathfinder, the whole canyon, that whole canyon is actually known nationwide for rappelling and rock climbing.
Really?
There are hundreds of routes out there from beginner to something I would never even attempt to do. That people are out in that Fremont Canyon area all summer long rappelling and rock climbing.
I never do that.
And there are anchors, there's anchors, for the named routes.
Yeah.
Depending on if it's a crack climb or a sport climb, you've got all the anchors. That canyon is full of rock climbing.
Have they got anything on, like a web page or anything like that you know of?
I know they do somewhere because I've seen it. The other place that probably could help you might be Mountain Sports downtown, because
Yeah.
they have a tremendous amount of rock climbing and rappelling gear down there. And I know
Are you
that
talking Rocky Mountain Discount Sports?
No, Mountain Sports, it's,
The one downtown?
it's right by St. Anthony's Church. North St. Anthony's is downtown, or the Elks Lodge.
Oh, yeah.
You know where the Elks is?
Yeah.
They're right, one
I was
street.
gonna say across the street from Cheese Barrel. Like, that's all I know it is.
I know, but I know where you're talking about. It's right around, not too awful far from Grant Street Grocery, and it's right there on Center Street or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's like.
I think it's right off of Center Street.
Yeah, I think you're
But
right.
it's a brownish colored building and it says Mountain Sports on it.
Yeah.
If you go down there, don't quote me, but I'm almost positive there's actually a brochure with all the
Okay.
routes on it.
Okay.
And I'm sure it's probably way better than when I was rock climbing years ago, but, there's a tremendous amount of rappelling, rock climbing, named routes, verified routes with anchors.
Mhm.
The canyon's full of them.
Cool.
I think we need to do some rappelling training. That sounds pretty good.
I agree.
Have you ever fast lined?
at homes?
Yeah,
Have
there
you
we
ever
go.
fast lined?
Next training, we're going to rappel.
But I wanted to.
I wanted to do it. When I did it in the Army, I was in Korea, and we just did it off of cliffs. And I think the cab unit I was in later on used to do it at some point, but they would take them up in the choppers.
Yeah.
And let them fast line off there.
I do know the countywide SRT team or SWAT team,
Mhm.
they use that building and they'll fast line off of it.
The tower,
Yeah, they'll fast line down the side of the tower.
from my understanding, because I don't have any real experience at it, but when you rappel, you kind of take it in leaps and bounds.
Yep.
And when you fast line, you gotta have nothing between you and the wall that sticks out to do it. When you do it from a helicopter, I guess it's a whole different situation because there's nothing to focus on. There's no wall there or anything, you know, that you're passing as you go. It's just straight air, you know.
Yeah, and that would be,
That'd be such a rush.
I think it would be fun and terrifying all at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, no.
Oh, yeah.
Now, one thing I don't want to ever do, I have no desire whatsoever, is Australian style. There's no way I'm gonna be able to sit there and look at that going down. I'm much better going this way than I am this way.
Oh, yeah, inverted.
Yeah.
Well, I can't,
Well, I don't know,
I can't.
I'm sure you're saying the same thing, but the Australian style is where normal style, you face the wall and your feet bounce off. Australian, you're faced away from the wall and you're horizontal.
Yeah, I can remember that.
And the military does it in some of their teams because then they can look out to the assault point and they can shoot at the same time as they're coming down.
That makes sense, especially for military
Yeah.
applications, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where's the winter weather advisory
Do you want
on
to-
I-80 right now?
I'm ready for summer. I'm
Holy-
tired of the snow, so
I lost all my water.
It doesn't surprise me, but-
I lost the tomato plant.
I do know up there, like when we're going, I'm
Freezing.
Yeah, well, I turned my
Because
first
my
off, so I'm not gonna put it back on.
comfortable on the
If
road,
winter
so
comes going,
I enjoy road, so I understand
I
where
haven't
you're
been a
going.
swamp over just yet.
But I like to invert up there,
You, I have double that in my
face
place right
down.
now.
It's a
I
wrap.
just,
It's fun.
I think somebody could talk me into
They
it
said,
after I
like,
come
I
down
lost tomato
a couple
plant,
times-
a couple times normal, you know?
My,
I just, something about it, I just,
bees,
And when we're up there, I mean, we have to meet all the
It's just- it's cold
NFPA
at night
standards
still.
and all that, so we're always on
Like I
the,
said, I didn't even try
there's
gardening.
always somebody to
I
catch us.
keep going out there and
We're
blowing
not
sheets
gonna
over
get
it.
out.
Yeah.
I missed
Yeah.
one frost, which killed my watermelon,
We have fun with it.
and I lost my tomato plant.
It's good training. And one of the other
Yeah, I
benefits,
can't
with our
watch.
chief meetings,
I just replanted.
the Sinclair refinery has a fire.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
try
And
to.
the fire brigade chief also comes
Yes,
to
tomato
us.
plant. Oh, look what I did.
And they actually specialize
Yeah,
in technical rescues with ropes and all
My
that
garden
because
this
of
year,
all
I'm
the
just-
towers and tanks and,
It's getting too cold.
our guys have went out to the refinery and got
Because I
some
think it's like a low, like last night was like 30 something.
from those guys, because they're really.
And of course, I'm
good
like,
at it.
Yeah.
no.
And we've been beneficiaries of
It's been
some
a weird
excellent
spring.
training with
So,
that amount of
we're hoping that starts.
do the other
hoping that
departments in the
starts-
county
looks like
go out there
they
too,
get a lot
or
of
is that
training,
just something
though,
you
so
guys
it's
kinda?
nice, but it's
got
kinda cold.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Probably do it more than the other departments because we're their neighbors.
Right.
But the other department that probably does it close to as much as we do is County Fire Station 13 out there.
Down here in the
Uh,
flats.
They come to a lot of
I had,
trainings
what,
as well
2
because they're also
this year?
neighbors.
Right.
Like,
If something happens out there, it's gonna be 13s of us that are going. So,
yeah.
we spend,
Well,
but City
it's not
Fire
too
has some
dry.
guys over as well. They're not probably as frequent,
I haven't
but
heard anything about Fourth of
they're
July.
right. Those
And also,
meetings
if there's any shell fireworks or.
utilize and take advantage of that interagency work. and stuff, you know.
When you go out
Yeah,
there,
that's what I
then,
was thinking. I don't know if they're gonna have like an event for it or not.
okay, when you guys do your normal training, not counting the refineries,
Sponsors and stuff.
Yeah, well, because not everyone's.
are you always in respirator gear?
So
or-
I'm just gonna donate to.
Not so much, but when you go out there, you're always in respirator gear.
It takes to put on the show, I mean, it's.
I would say it's a combination of both.
All right.
Are you talking about
It's gonna be
like
a season summer, I
CBAs?
know,
Yeah.
even the pools.
So it depends on our training topic of the night, but I mean, we train with it with that, depending on what we're training on out there.
I understand if
Um,
there's some space.
I would think out there, it almost have to be mandatory and everything, because at any point, you can walk around the corner and have fumes and.
So they're, the fire brigade chief,
I had somebody that would.
it really depends on where we're at in the refinery. Like if we're away from the main refinery on one of the
Well, yeah,
remote
some
towers,
everything, I mean,
we
we
don't
just
have
fix
to
it.
wear, we have to be in the car, but we don't have to actually wear the CBAs. Anytime we do the tanks, you know, anything like that, a storage tank or confined space, anything like that, yeah, we have to wear some type of,
It's not.
and they're
I'm like,
they're crazy about all the OSHA stuff, so we wear whatever they tell us we need to wear. How's that?
Yeah, so- Since you mentioned confined space, is everybody on our department Pine State certified?
Well, I think all this writing and everything, just people being all pissed, I think it's almost.
Not
because of
everybody
They're
is,
almost
no.
stuck inside for so long that the anger
But
starts
we
building up.
do have guys that have, the technical rescue training, the confined space training, those types of things. Or
I just had a return and we'll come out here with a
Oh.
regular.
You guys just drive on school, read down.
You got to give me Pierce vote when I did that.
I'm just. Yeah.
Judge's chair. That's all messed up. I think I messed it up worse. Okay. Then you made a motion to go back to regular session, so I just need to make a motion to adjourn.
I think they need to.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I just need a motion to adjourn and a motion to adjourn. Second discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks for sending me that. I'm gonna have to, you might look at, your email will let you, give you access to Microsoft Outlook.
There.
That's what I did with mine, is you can just get it on the App Store. And I think it's far better managed